DM for the evening. Sorry for the TPK. Let's go.
Come on in, join the show, take a seat, grab a hoe, kick your feet up on the desk, man, cause we about to role play some D&D, baby.
We ain't nothing but mammals, and yes, we do it like they do on the Discovery Channel.
We got people wild shaping, barbarians raging, Goop trying to gobble cause goblins are fucking cannibals. This is Dungeons and Dragons with lots of drunken asses, so send your kids to their room, break out the secret stashes. No discussion about what's fair and right, this is us living life by a paradise. So, step on down to our lair of mice, face stepping right through your screen into paradise. Yo! This is paradise. Nothing's off limits in our paradise.
It's a fucking D&D.
This is paradise. Nothing's off limits in our paradise.
Going as far as you can see.
This is paradise. Nothing's off limits in our paradise.
Fucking all the succubies.
This is paradise.
Heretic, I think you meant succubi.
I know what the fuck I meant. Roll for initiative.
When we last saw Guy, he was surrounded by shadows and vanished with these demons. So what was Guy doing while everyone else was bringing back Goop? Find out this time on PairODice Untold.
You awaken from your rest as you hear a voice call out, "Guy, wake up, your time has come." Your eyes open as you look around to find yourself on a raft floating on a sea of darkness.
So Guy's a little confused because he didn't intend to fall asleep. He, last thing he remembers is he was holding Goop, like, in his arms, the cold, lifeless body of Goop, and he was trying to figure out what he was going to do next and where to move from here. But, like, that's the last thing he remembers. Is there anything else that happened in between then that he can recollect?
No, you were there, you were holding Goop, you were trying to stay awake. You felt like you were doing a good job of it. And then suddenly you just wake up here. And then you hear these whispers. "You have been chosen. Row to shore and find yourself there." And despite my bad voice acting, the voice sounds to be
That's a woman for sure. No, I can tell for sure. She's got like a sultry, smoky sound to her for sure. Like maybe menthols. I think menthols for sure. Like
menthols, yeah. And I'm not trying too hard on the voice at this moment, but you get it.
Do or do not. There is no try. You know what I mean?
True.
All right, so guy's gonna kind of gather himself a little bit. He's gonna look around. On this raft, is there like a pole that he can use to pull himself to shore?
Yes. There is a very the raft is poorly made, and so some of this thick black water, oily substance. You can't really decide which one it is because one second it's really thin like water, and the next it's thick and hard to move around. So this is kind of seeping up through the raft, and you see one singular paddle.
Guy kind of like shakes his head and then grabs the paddle in his one good hand and begins to alternate sides to row himself forward. While he's doing this, does he have any of his equipment and or gear?
Yeah, it would seem in this moment that you've been reunited with all that, despite having left it all behind, which is even more strange considering that you did leave it all behind.
What about the sword that he intentionally left behind? Like he chose not to have his regular sword, he just left it.
That sword is also with you.
Not his demon sword. I mean his great sword.
Correct. It is also with you.
Fair enough. So he's gonna keep kind of paddling. It's slow going for sure. He's got to alternate sides, and it's not easy to row with one hand. This is embarrassing. It's not looking super elegant either. He's doing whatever he can to get there.
You row for quite some time, and the struggle has caused you to break a sweat. But eventually you approach the shore, and you step off the raft onto the shore, and it seems that the shore, the sand from the shore is pure black dust. The grass is just as dark, but the trees seem to have a purple hue, Hanging from one of the trees is a rope swing. It sways back and forth as if by the wind, but you feel no such force yourself. A woman approaches. She looks familiar, but you're not sure from where. She dons a great mystical staff. As she gets closer, her essence becomes that of a transparent blur and a shadow. As she reaches long with her oracle-like staff, it slowly begins to morph into a flame-rendered greatsword. And as it transforms into the sword, the blade is within inches from your face. She says, "Show me, my child. Let us fight to the death."
Guy's gonna look at her, meet her eyes. He's not drawing his sword, obviously. I have not come here to fight. I have come here to bargain.
I have brought you here, not for a bargain.
Did you not hear my call? He kind of looks down at his arm. Is his arm still cut from where he did like the blood sacrifice type thing?
Yes.
Okay, so that's making him think that this may or may not be like real. He thinks that it's probably actually a reality thing, and he's been transported here. At first, he was thinking it was a dream.
As she looks at your hand, she looks back up at you, and her shadowy figure begins, like where the mouth should be, it begins to come really transparent, and this transparency looks like a smile as the ground begins to rise, and you realize that the ground you're standing on is not the shore, but the figure of some monstrosity. The shadow-like figure beneath your feet, you're most definitely standing on this figure's gargantuan-sized head, like island-sized head. As it stands erect, you're 100 feet above sea level, and it begins to trench forward, quaking beneath your feet with every step. I need you to roll initiative.
All right, guy's gonna drop real low to try and keep his center of balance, as stable as possible. I rolled pretty well. It's not a 20, but I think a 2 should do it.
2 versus 10, so she's going to go first. So immediately, she's going to wave her hand as you see these dark black shadow-like weeds and vines sprout from the ground and grasp onto you. I need you to make a strength check.
I rolled an 11 modified.
All right. As these shadow-like plants grab onto your legs, you're held into place for the moment. She doesn't swing any weapon, and then now it's gonna be your turn. She just stands and taunts with her sword, with her flaming sword behind her back.
Guy's gonna take this moment to, as he's kind of sort of restrained a little bit, he's going to take this moment to evaluate himself. Does it appear as if he is what rested from his last encounter? Because he had taken some fighting, and he's wondering if he's still wounded.
Yeah, you feel refreshed, like you've been asleep for quite some time.
All right. So guy is going to calmly look, and he can kind of see some eyes there, even though it's not exactly a fully, formed creature or a person or whatever, right?
Correct.
I know that you operate under different rules, and so I'm willing to be patient with you. But I have not come to fight. I have come to trade the only currency I have, my life. If you choose to take it now, just realize that you are agreeing to the bargain, which is set, a life for a life. Take it if you wish, but I will require my payment.
I have kept you alive for a reason.
You have kept me nothing. What I have done for myself.
Then let's see what you can do for yourself now. As she reaches out her left hand and gestures for the fight to begin. Her right arm still behind her back, clenching the sword, but in a non-defensive way, as if begging you to strike her.
The guy is gonna think about it for a second, and then he's gonna kind of smile, you see, like a resigned smile, and then so he's still restrained, or his arms bound currently.
You at the end of your turn you can make a strength save, but currently the only thing that's bound is your legs to the ground, as the hairs of this giant monstrosity you're standing the head of has wrapped around your
have bound around the legs. Okay, so my arms are still 100% free. All right, so and how far away is she from him? Okay, and right now guy is kind of in a kneeling position, so the cords are kind of bound up to his kneecaps, as he's kneeling on one knee. He's going to draw his greatsword from his back.
Okay.
And he's going. Okay. Yeah, he's going to attempt to cut himself free from the hairs, because I've got no range here.
Sure.
So should I roll an attack for that?
Yeah, go ahead and roll an attack.
I rolled a 14 to hit.
You chop these tentacles off, however, just off of one leg.
All right, well, I guess I'm attacking again. For someone who wishes to fight me, you went through much trouble to restrain me. And I rolled a 23 to hit on that one.
That hits, and you're completely free.
Okay, and at this level, I have one more attack. So Guy is going to stride forward, and then he's going to attempt to do a right side slash to, like, just a power swing to try and just knock her off of this giant animal or beast or creature that we're standing on top of.
You've never seen anything like it in your life. It's so strange. Yeah, go ahead and roll to hit.
All right, I rolled a nat 1. So what happens there? This is the end of my turn.
Okay, so as soon as you're done stating your case and realizing that, or not realizing that she is wanting this fight, you swing your sword, break yourself free, lunge at her, and as you come down with a vertical swing as if to chop her in half, she very swiftly moves out of the way as your sword sticks into the skull of this large creature, and it seems not to even flinch one bit. Your sword is stuck there until you make a strength check to try to pull it out.
So it's as if, like, she is part of this giant creature, like she is part of the entity though, right?
No, it doesn't seem that way. It just the forms are very similar. They're very dark and shadow-like.
But she's not actually tied to it necessarily that I can perceive.
No, it doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't seem like it.
My turn's over. It's all you, man. What's she gonna do?
Okay. All right. So the ground shakes, and I need you to make a dex save as this beast steps forward.
I rolled a 9.
As soon as this beast begins to move forward, it takes one large step, and the head of it just moves left and right so much that it throws you off your balance and you fall straight on your ass prone. She is going to strike at you with her sword, the flaming sword, and that is going to be a 15 to hit.
That's a miss for sure. He deflects it with his metal, like, stub of an arm.
All right. So at that moment, she swings down with this blade, and you can see the flames just kind of get larger from all the oxygen as she's swinging, and you easily dodge out of the way as you just roll over on your back, and that's the end of her turn. So you can use half your movement to get up at this point.
All right, which Guy is going to do immediately.
Mm-hmm.
Now that little small smirk that he had before, realizing that, like, he gets to fight a god or something akin to it, is, like, turned into a full-on smile at this point. He might be ready to enjoy this. Before we finish this duel, we must agree on the stakes for it. And he's going to grab his sword and he's going to try and pull it free.
All right, make a strength save.
Check or save?
Or check.
Oh man, that's an 11.
Yeah, you pull it right out of the
Fantastic. If I win this combat, will you give me what I ask for?
Yes, she says with the hideous, transparent smile on her face. As you can see the shadowy figure of herself kind of flicker like the flame from the blade.
Good. And Guy is going to step forward, and she's, like, right there, like, directly next to him, right?
Yes.
How big is this like, platform that we're on, like the platform monster that we're standing on top of, Shadow of Colossus style?
How big is it? It's about the size of an island. It's huge. It's like a small island, actually. So I would say probably like a couple 100 feet circumference.
Okay. Wow. All right. I'm right about in the center. All right, Guy is going to attack.
Okay.
That's a 17 to hit.
17 hits
for a total of 14 damage.
14. All right. As you strike her with the blade, she doesn't even seem like she tried to dodge it. She just sat there and took the strike. As it kind of cleaves some of the shadow off of her right shoulder, you see the shadow fall off to the ground, and now there's just this huge missing piece of her shoulder.
Does she have substance? Did I feel resistance when I struck with that sword?
Yeah.
Okay, well, he's gonna come back with a backhand, and he's gonna attack again. Does a 26 hit? He's trying to decapitate at this point.
Yeah, 26 hits.
That's 13 damage.
All right. You notice as you How did you strike with this one?
So he struck from right to left first, and now he did from left to right towards her like shoulder/neck, just like up at her head.
Yeah. You see the blade just run straight through her body and in a diagonal from her neck all the way down to her torso. And where the blade went, you can see sort of this the material, the shadow material, just kind of go with it. And you could and this blade went straight through, and you could see completely through it for a moment, and then it begins to collapse in on itself and become whole again, but she seems a tad bit smaller this time, just like you took a little bit off of her height with that.
Oh, guy's having a pretty decent time at this point. He's got a big old grin on his face, and that's his turn. He's going to be in a combat crouch, ready in case that thing takes another step.
You watch as her body morphs into this large octopus-like creature that slides towards the edge of this head and reaches out with its tentacles. And this octopus is completely purple. It has definitely more of an opaque figure than she did.
Is it still gripping that flaming sword?
No, the sword is gone.
What happened to the sword? Did it just vanish?
When you hit her, it just vanished, and became this staff again. And as she reaches out with the tentacles, it's going to be a 8 to hit.
Nope.
All right. So the tentacles come flying at you, and you, as if they were trying to stick to your skin, you move out of the way, and the suction cups from the tentacles stick onto the head of this creature for a second. You can see that it's trying to pull itself away. It gets frustrated when it shoots off an ink cloud. So despite the fact that you are above water, this ink still flows as if you were underwater, and this entire area is heavily obscured in black ink, making it pretty difficult to see. And that's her turn.
All right, as this area becomes obscured, Guy is going to put his sword, like his regular sword, into the earth next to him. And he's going to pull out the demon blade that he has been carrying around for some time. Does it seem to have any reaction in this darkness? Does it light up at all? Does it improve his ability to find, perceive, or target her?
Yes, you could feel this sword pulling you in her direction.
No matter what monstrous form you take, I will find you. And he's going to just stride directly towards whatever direction that said it was in, and he's going to go in for an attack if he can close the distance.
You aimlessly run through this black ink float that's just kind of absorbed by the air and floating there. You can't really see what's ahead of you, but you find yourself running into a creature that feels very much like an octopus, and you wish to attack, so go ahead and roll that.
Does the sword aid me in any sort of finding or locating her, or am I just using an inferior weapon for no reason?
It does aid you in finding her, otherwise you wouldn't have been able to. Otherwise you'd have disadvantage on this roll.
Good. All right, I'm gonna attack. All right, hang on a sec. Let me attack again. That's a 23 to hit.
Yeah.
That's 13 damage. He's gonna attempt to stab.
Okay, so you just stab into this gigantic purple octopus, and you see just this purple ooze come out of the wound as you pull the sword out.
Instead of pulling the sword out, actually, he's gonna leave it in, and he's going to attempt to pivot on it and he's gonna attempt a grapple check using the sword as part of his handhold and using his legs to kind of wrap around part of his torso so it can't run away.
Okay.
Can I grapple that?
Mm-hmm.
All right, that's a 16
It works.
contested.
Yeah.
All right, fantastic. So now he should be locked in with his legs. Now he's going to pull the sword out. I believe I can do one more attack, but that's kind of up to the DM. I've done a lot of actions.
You pulled the sword out, right?
Yeah.
Or was that last turn? Yeah, you pulled.
So what I did is I dropped my other sword, pulled out this sword, ran in for a stab, then mounted it. I'm wondering if I can do one more stab straight down between my legs.
Yeah, go for it. As you're holding on to this large octopus, your arms are barely reaching around it, but you're still managing to hold it back.
That's another 23.
You pull out your short sword, and how do you pierce it or do you slash? I guess you have to
Stabbing.
do
He's
your
still stabbing.
Yeah.
He's going straight down, you know.
Yeah. You pull it out and you just stab in again, and you can see this even more ooze just come
It's
out
not,
of
he
it.
can't even tell exactly what part of the body he's stabbing. He just knows that that's part of the body, and he's just going by feel at this point and kind of what he can see. That's 10 damage. And his turn's over.
All right, and at this moment, the figure that you were holding onto, this large, gigantic octopus that you're grappled with, and your arms are kind of reached out around it, trying to hold it with one arm like around tentacles and the other arm just kind of stabbing it in the chest.
Okay, so what he's doing is he's locked him with his legs, and then he's stabbing in. So right now his sword's going to be in it, and he's holding on to his sword with his left hand, with his right hand. His left hand is not doing much of anything right now because it can't really hold on.
As the sword's still in this figure, you could feel the weight of your sword become heavy again as it morphs back into the shadowy figure that you saw earlier. The ink cloud kind of dissipates, and she backs up quite a bit as you see her wave her hands, and 5 shadows appear directly between you and her.
So expecting a little bit of this shape-shifting like bit, Guy's gonna like again fall into that crouch, like that tactical crouch with his left hand kind of facing forward with his armored sleeve, so that he's ready for an attack whatever she decides to do with those shadowy figures. His hand with the demon blade is kind of cocked back, ready to go. Is my turn?
Yeah, it's your turn.
All right, Guy is going to dash forward and attempt to put the demon blade through one of those shadows, wherever their head would be.
All right, go ahead and roll it.
Jeez Louise, what is it with the 23s? That's another 15-23 to hit.
Oh, it hits. It hits. How you gonna do it?
Guy's got this thing where he really, really likes hitting things in the head, so he's gonna try and pierce this shadow directly through where its skull would be. He's fought a lot of monsters, and in general, the head's a safe bet for hitting.
Right, and as soon as you stab this blade into the head, you could see its figure turns to fog and begins to be absorbed into your sword.
Oh man, Guy is ecstatic at this point. He's starting to have a really good time, kind of caught up in the moment, not really worrying about what happened or what's going to happen, just thriving in the hunting of monsters.
Guy's looking around and doing the math and like, yeah. Oh, Guy wouldn't know actually.
Guy is feeling invincible, and he's just ready to go. He rolls a 16 to hit on the next shadow.
That hits. How'd you
Okay,
like to do
on
it?
this one, he's going to step forward and he's going to try and drive one of his boots into its chest to knock it over. Are they substantial?
Sorry, explain that again because I misunderstood.
Are these shadow things substantial? Do they have any substance to them? Do they have resistance or mass or form?
It feels like as soon as you strike with that blade, like the initial hit, you could feel the resistance, and then like the resistance that you should
but
feel
he
following.
tried to put his he wanted to put his foot through their chest is what he was trying to do.
Oh, with your foot. Yeah, you would feel some resistance with your foot.
Okay, is he able to knock it over? He's testing the physical capabilities of these things. He's trying to gather some information for like the continuance of the fight. Is he able to interact with it with his body or only the sword?
Your foot goes straight through, yes.
Okay, and so he's going to do the same thing as he steps through it, pretty much, because the kick doesn't land. He's just going to put the sword through its chest, and that's his turn.
All right, this one does the same as the last. It just dissolves into a foggy substance and becomes absorbed by your sword. And you can see the sword just gradually getting longer and longer and darker and more demonic looking as you continue through this.
Something I was wondering, does this sword create, like, does it have, like, markings to signify how many shadows he's killed? Because, like, in my brain, it's got, like, a mark for every one of the shadows that he's taken down, so he can tell that, like, it really likes killing shadows.
It doesn't have like marks, like tallies. No, it doesn't have tallies. However, every time you swing, it gets longer, and with every time it gets longer, you can see a new arcane rune kind of written on it and become
Okay, right.
yeah, and begin to glow. You're not sure exactly what they say and what they're for. But you can kind of judge by the length of the sword and the spacing on these runes that the object looks to be close to becoming complete, and because the runes are catching up with the tip of the blade.
Fantastic. Guy's turn is now over.
The other 3 shadows will immediately attack. 11, 15, and a 17.
Guy is able to avoid every one of those attacks.
As the shadows reach out with their arms to try to grasp you and pull you in, your body just instinctively avoids every single bit of them as you can feel like the wind from it, the force almost from it. And that will be their turn as she just sits back in entertainment. It looks very with a very proud look on her face almost.
8 shadows have been consumed by this blade. These trials only serve to make me stronger. And he's going to attack the next shadow.
All right, roll it.
That's 20 to hit.
Tough. Yeah. How do you want to do it?
Guy is going to do a rapid, and he's going to chop both of its like arms off, kind of thing, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And then he's just going to do a shoulder to hip cut to try and just cause it to dissipate.
Nice.
Because he's not meeting much resistance here, so he's just trying to clean these guys up as quickly as possible. Like, as you know, he's not going for power strokes. He's just going to just tear them apart. He's going to attack again with the next one.
Okay.
Yeah, he feels unstoppable, so he's not even bothering to make sure they dissipate before he moves on to the next one. A 27 to hit.
Yeah, and it's like you just swing at one and swing at the other so fast that you could see both of their figures morph into fog and just be absorbed by the sword. And the second that they both reach the sword, it becomes the length of a great sword, and you could feel the sword kind of dissolve, and the energy of it courses through your body, and you watch it particle by particle enter into your right hand. Correct? That's you're using? Right?
No, he's gonna have his right hand. Oh my gosh, hang on one second. I'm pretty sure, but for some reason I'm blanking. I gotta check the PairODice art real quick. Right, so it's his left hand. Yeah.
Okay, so you're swinging with your left hand, and you could feel the particles being absorbed into your hand on the left, and you could feel the energy just coursing through your body, and you watch the nub on your right hand as it becomes this long sword. This entire arm just becomes to lengthen and lengthen. You think it's never going to stop when finally you look down and you just see your entire right arm extended.
Wow. Talk about well endowed, if you know what I mean.
And the final shadow just dissipates
as I enter him with my new arm. Oh, that's badass. Oh, I got chills. I got chills for sure right there.
And you look around to see her as you were going to use this new sword to attack her. You can't seem to find her anywhere. The monstrosity that you're standing on leans over next to this piece of land as if it's trying to place you on the ledge.
I think my turn's over. I'm out of attacks.
Yeah, we're out of initiative now.
Oh, are we? Fantastic. Yeah. So just to make sure I have this right, that sword appears to have like absorbed itself into Guy's body and then is now channeling itself through his severed arm.
Correct.
Or like where? Oh man. Okay, that's pretty cool. It has weight and mass, correct?
Yes.
Oh boy. All right. Guy's going to attempt to like see if he can change the shape of it or like retract it. So he does like, can he retract it back into his body, or is that not something that he's able to do? Because he's a little freaked out, but he's still running. He's riding that like endorphin high of like kill.
Yeah.
So he wants to figure out how he can use this as quickly as possible because he has more killing to do.
At the moment, as this monstrosity is leaned down and you can see the ledge, as if this one piece of land that you're standing on is connecting to another, you look down at your arm and you can feel like a sense of connection between your brain and it, as if it was an extension of your hand. You could feel it kind of wanting to retract as you're thinking about it, but at the moment you don't
have the power or like the ability to have full control over it, right?
Correct. At the moment, you can't focus enough.
Well, that's understandable. I mean, this is new for everyone, I think. All right, so Guy's gonna look up, kind of snapping back out. He's snapping back to reality. What's the lady doing?
She's gone.
She's gone. Okay, because she was knocked pissed and then she evaporated, and then okay, got it. Does it appear as if there's a direction in which I'm intended to go?
Yeah, there's only one way off, and that's on this land. There's like a large ledge that's kind of this ledge is just floating in the air by itself.
You ask for a fight, and yet you flee. Come and face me, or send more of your minions. They only serve to give me fuel. And he's gonna walk forward along that obvious area that he's supposed to go to.
You hear a voice call out to you in every direction. It says, "In order for you to move forward, you must face your fears. You are more than this. You are the one. Enter the mouth of a shadow and find your new order."
Guy's grin turns into a snarl, like you can see that struck some sort of chord. I am nothing. And he's gonna continue to walk forward.
As you walk forward, you find yourself on this ledge. There's nowhere else to go but this ledge. It's kind of, if you can imagine a floating island with like a jut out in one direction, and that's it. It's only about 20 feet in circumference. You look back and you see this monstrosity a little more full. He's got large black and red eyes. The left one's black and the right one's red. And he's the size of like the I'm trying to think of something to describe the size of this thing. So fucking huge.
Shadow of Colossus, man. You ever played Shadow of Colossus?
Yeah, exactly.
That's
like
what
that.
I'm picturing is like
yes,
that level
exactly
of behemoth where you can't even take in its whole scope. You can only take in like the portion you're interacting with.
Yeah.
Like you can see a face, but that's all you can see. You can see a body, but only part of it.
You haven't even seen like a building this tall. Even Charity's Grace isn't as big as this. He opens his mouth just wide enough for you to walk inside. You can see his tongue dripping and oozing this black ichor, and his teeth sharp as a wolf's, but as large as like stalagmites in a cave.
The guy's going to look at the back of the beast, and he's going to see his sword still sitting there. And he's gonna look down at his arm that's got, the demon sword.
Yeah.
And then he's gonna get that smirk back that he had, even though he's still obviously pissed off. So it's like a snarling smirk, and he's gonna boldly step forward.
As you step into this cave-sized mouth, it closes, and you're alone in pure darkness. The stench is vile. Your feet are on this creature's sticky but soft tongue. You can feel the warmth from the breath and the slimy tissue inside this creature's mouth. And you hear a voice again. "My child, for it is I, the taker of your hand, the beholder of your future, the oracle of tales untold."
I have no future. I only have a present. I reject your prophecy.
You will prove to be such a man that stakes his existence on not one god, but all, in an effort to save your realms from the chaos of the blood wars. This is not a prophecy, for I have been to the future, and I know how this ends.
I care not for your riddles. I am here with an objective. I come seeking a life. Will you give it to me, or must I take it?
The life of which you seek is not mine to give, as it is alive and well, as you wished.
Then you may exact what payment you wish from me.
Very well. Find your way with your allies, as it is you and only you who can possess this sword. The power is immense. You will destroy the ones that stand to eradicate the living. You will prevent the Ragnarok and become the savior you were always meant to be. In time, you'll find your glory.
I seek not glory. However, he's going to hold up a finger. He's going to kind of notice the fact that he can hold up a hand while he still has a sword. He likes the fact that he can hand gesture while holding a weapon. That's kind of a cool thing for him.
The little things.
It's a little thing. Like, yeah, it's nice. However, if you wish me to kill, I will kill. If you wish me to slay gods, and he's gonna definitely smile on that one again. He's having a pretty good time. So be it.
You were not part of his demonic vision, this Bane Lich of Ragnarok. You're a mere anomaly set forth by the intervention of travelers through the cosmic perception you call time. When you are lost, find companionship with the one they call a Dave. He is to be a righteous one indeed. Suddenly the soft tissue beneath your feet begins to feel like it's dissolving into this black ichor. You begin to sink and you're struggling to stay above it.
Why would you take this from me? Why would you take my arm? If I am to serve your purpose, why would you start by destroying me? You have taken all that I held dear. The only reason I do not strike you down now is that we have a bargain, and I uphold my deals.
In order to become what you needed to become, a struggle must you have. You will find that the strength that you've wielded with your left and only hand for so long has made your right one that much stronger.
I have lost all that made me a man. All I am now is a weapon. Is this your intent?
This is not my intent. This is the will of time itself. As you feel this black ichor begin to reach to your chest, it feels like quicksand as you can't seem to get above it and stay there.
Guy isn't gonna fight that. He doesn't really need answers. He's already made his deal. And so, what happens kind of.
As you give in to the struggle with the black ichor, you begin to drown. You can't see, you can't breathe, and you fall unconscious.
It sounds like this mysterious figure has a plan for Guy. Let's see if he follows through.